Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14. We are here to talk about this weekend's game as Vanderbilt travels to Missouri. Missouri, as we do this, about a 14.5 point favorite with an over-under of 54.5, depending on where you are seeing this. Blake, both teams need a win, but my goodness, both teams have been much different in their losing of late. Vanderbilt has given up, 55, 55, and 52 the last 3 weeks to Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss, not necessarily in that order. It's been shut out once. It's got a field goal against Alabama. Missouri, meanwhile, almost pulled the shocker of the year in beating Georgia a couple of weeks ago. Took Auburn to overtime, basically had that game won until an ill-fated stretch the ball across the pylon decision resulted in a game-ending fumble. Missouri's had a week off, and for Vanderbilt, I just wonder if the Commodores have any confidence left after just getting destroyed by 3 teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's never ideal. And what I assume when I haven't seen our power rankings for the week, but what I assume will be our 13 and 14 teams in the SEC. And Vegas thinks that the 13 team is 2 touchdowns better than the 14 team.
Whew.
Never an ideal spot to be in if you're the number 14 team in that group. But the fact is, Vandy's given up a ton of points. No surprise that the over is hit as many times. And again, we're not even talking like we're not professional bettors, but these are things that stand out with this in terms of the number of points they've given up. And now you go on the road to play a Missouri team that has looked better in their recent games. And so, yeah, I think these are. I don't even know if I want to go as far to say 2 teams heading in different directions, but I think in terms of the performances, definitely 2 teams heading in different directions, just based on recent performances. So,
Well, there could be 2 teams headed in the same direction, one going at 2 miles an hour and the other one going at 100 based
yeah,
on
this is
recent
like the train
results. But
question. Yeah. So,
right,
if a train leaves the station,
train A
it's
leaves Columbia.
yeah, I
Right.
don't know. So,
I like it. We might have to recycle that. Okay.
mm,
When Vandy's got the ball, the Commodores have averaged 28.4 points a game, however, 63 in that Hawaii game with 2 defensive touchdowns. Missouri giving up 24.7 a game. Vandy under A.J. Swan has looked good at times on offense, but against really good defenses. And I think some of it has been the play calling has just gone into hibernation. We've talked about Missouri's defense being better than given credit for being. If you take out sacks, here are yards per play. Vanderbilt 4.7 running the ball, Missouri giving up the same. And yards per pass play, Vanderbilt gaining 6.5, Missouri only giving up 5.7. Missouri looks improved in the secondary, in the pass rush. It doesn't get talked about a lot because Missouri has been, as you said, probably the 13th best team in the league. But that defense, which was shield your eyes bad this time a year ago, has made a pretty dramatic turnaround for Eli Drinkwitz.
yep, they played really well the past month or so. Really, go all the way back to that Kansas State game where they gave up 40 on the road. Since then, highest they've given up is 26, and of course that was to Georgia in sort of a desperation rally for Georgia to win that game. Played pretty well at Florida, even though they lose there, but they're right there with a chance to win that one too. So yeah, I mean Missouri's defense has given them a chance. I mean, let's be honest, they've given them a chance to win the last 3 games. They've just lost all 3 of them because they just have not been able to find enough on the other side, maybe, and just get 1 or 2 of those stops when you need them most. So in this kind of game where, like you said, even though Vanderbilt has certainly looked better offensively with AJ Swan, and we've seen, I said that a minute ago, we've seen some good things with Vanderbilt. Like even you look at part of that Ole Miss game and that kind of stuff, but it's just still, I think there's just such a gap there in terms of performance. And I think when you look at what the Missouri defense has been able to do, home or road, I think they definitely can build on that. And that's where, with AJ Swan, we've talked about it. He's been someone that has done a pretty good job of kind of commanding, executing what Vanderbilt wants to do offensively, but still another big challenge here on the road against and you said it, Chris, what was the secret of the SEC was kind of Missouri's defensive improvement. And um, I think that will once again be on display in this game.
Okay, the college football season is well underway. The best place to make your sports predictions without risking your bankroll is Stakes. That is Stakes. Predict anything in the game. Take the game time excitement to the next level when you compete with your friends and other fans on the Stakes app. During their weekly competitions, you can build your predictions track record by winning competition and earning NFT trophies for making the perfect calls. Go to playwithstakes.com/14. Sign up, use the invite code Southeastern14 for a double welcome bonus. Always free to play, free to join, help out our title sponsor, and have a lot of fun. And check out our picks under the handle Southeastern14 and pick up against them. Rub our nose in it if you beat us, whatever. Just get in the app and have some fun, and you'll be glad you did. Okay. When Missouri has the ball, Missouri's offense has been fairly underwhelming, averaging 25.2 points a game. Vandy, though, that close to averaging 40 a game given up, and that's after giving up 10 to Hawaii in the opener. Per running play, Missouri averaging 5 yards a carry adjusted for sacks. Vandy giving up 5.1 pass plays. Missouri only averaging 6.2 per pass play. Vanderbilt giving up 8.6. I mean, if this is not the worst pass defense in the country, adjusted for sacks, I don't know who would be. I know Arkansas has been bad, but Vanderbilt's pulled a hold my beer with this. Now, look, some of that's been done by good quarterbacks, Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett and Jackson Dart, but we have also seen Vanderbilt give up a ton of pass yards to Elon. We saw him do it to Northern Illinois with the backup quarterback. This might be a Brady Cook get well game, given how Vanderbilt has played.
Yeah, I think like we said, I mean, look at the numbers for Vanderbilt the past, Chris? I mean, really all season. But when you look at just they've given up at least 52 points in their last 3 games. Now, granted, that's against 3 top 10 teams, right? In Alabama, Missouri, Georgia. So Missouri, maybe not quite to that level offensively, of course, but we've seen this all season in terms of just the numbers that they've given up. And like you said, when we talk about get right games and those kind of things, I mean, Missouri is going to have every opportunity in the world to get their offense where they want it to go in this one. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and we're recording this on Monday, so we don't know the answer to this, but Luther Burden did leave that Florida game with, I think it was the ankle injury, something like that. Didn't return. Of course, we haven't seen any updates on that since then because Missouri had the week off. But, how much does that factor into the mix? Certainly that would be impactful, but
Probably not.
yeah, I still
Well,
think
I
Missouri is
say
going to.
probably not, given the way he's not been an integral part of the offense and given the way that it doesn't really matter who's lined up across the line of scrimmage from Vanderbilt lately.
Well, and there you go.
But I know
So,
what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's, again, we'll see. But again, if you're a Missouri fan and you've been wanting to find your offense and get it to maybe the levels that you've seen it be able to get to in the past, because it hasn't been there recently. But again, also kind of not an easy schedule either, given the defenses. But this could certainly be an opportunity to put up some points.
Okay, a couple things. I mean, this matchup is decidedly tilted towards Missouri, and that's who we're going to pick. But if you're looking for some things that could even it out, Missouri -2 in turnovers, Vandy +1. Missouri 66 penalty yards a game, Vandy 45. Special teams rankings on FEI, and it is not updated through the weekend's games, but Missouri was 89 and Vandy was 15. So the Commodores better, some things that people don't think about. There's also this. Vanderbilt's got a 24-game conference losing streak. The last time it won was Missouri. Different coach, different lots of things, but Vanderbilt had lost 34-10 to a UNLV team that fired its coach after the season. So just a reminder here that sometimes, even as things tilt decidedly one way, and by the way, that Missouri team was 5-0 and ranked in the top 25. Sometimes you get one out of the blue, but Blake, I'm not seeing it here. I'm going to take Missouri in the points and the over.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like with Vanderbilt, I think AJ Swan gives them a chance just because he hasn't turned the ball over. That's something we talked about. I think that's certainly important in this game. You've got to just take advantage of every offensive opportunity you have because you feel like you're going to give up points. And again, no matter how up and down Missouri's offense has been at times, Vanderbilt has just proven that it really cannot stop anybody. So you would expect kind of a really good offensive performance from Missouri. If you look at the numbers via covers, the under is 5-0 in Missouri's last 5 games. Also 5-0 in their last 5 SEC games. Vanderbilt, though, as you would expect, Chris, the over is hit pretty much every time for the most part. It's just a lot of overs are hitting with Vanderbilt just because they're giving up a lot of points here. So that's an interesting note. The under is 5-0 in the last 5 games between these two teams in Columbia. So kind of an interesting thought process there. But the problem is, like you said, I think Vanderbilt gives up points here. That line is at 14. I think as long as it stays at 14, I'll take Missouri by 2 touchdowns here. I just don't see enough defensively for Vanderbilt to be able to slow down what's even, again, it's not been a great offense, but given what Missouri's defense can do, I just think they probably find a way to win this and probably cover. So,
Yeah, the Vegas predicted final based on the line and the over-under is 35-20 Missouri. These teams are averaging between the offense and defense do about 59 would be the expected over-under on this one. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, we are previewing every single SEC football game this season. So best way to catch those is hit that subscribe button. If there are any injury updates, we will have those usually on our Wednesday night live show, although we've got a little bit of an issue with that this week because we may be in Alabama for SEC Media Days, depending on some things at home for basketball. Either way, we'll get you updated on our channel. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 14.